Hello, my friends. Sorry, Lynn's here. Sorry, I nearly fell off my chair before. I thought it was funny to. Anyway, how you doing? Good to see you again. It's been a while. Oh, God, you gotta have a laugh, haven't you? Right. So, when was the last time we did one? It was in beginning of December. Had lots of stuff going on over December, early Jan. So forgive us for not being with you in January as we had anticipated. I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers. Got 80,000 now, which is cool. I want 20,000 more because I want a silver button. I want to be one of the oldest people on YouTube to get a silver button. All right. My son, he's got one already. In fact, he's on his way to a gold one. So, you know, thank you for the 80,000. Right, for those people new and never seen us before, this is the 24th live stream. These are all about you folks out there. You know, I do all these lessons on the internet and all that sort of stuff. And most of the time you understand exactly what's going on because of my AD-approved paperwork. But for those that don't, or they've got some questions, then now's your chance. I can see some rolling up now, which I'm going to have a look at any minute, to ask me in real time, you know, what you might be having trouble with, you know, strumming, chords, you know, that type of thing. Let's have a look. I made a few notes on here, things that people have been complaining about not being able to do. Bar chords, you know, they're not hard when you know how to do it. It's all technique, you know. It's not about your hands. I did a thing the other week about having fat fingers or whatever. Django Reinhardt, one of the greatest players ever, only had two. He had two fingers burnt off in a fire, and he was one of the world's finest guitar players. So that excuse, we can't use it anymore. None of us can use that one. Keeping a steady rhythm, things like that. Anything that you've got a problem with to do with your playing, give us a shout. And now, a lot of people who can't play any instruments, but they write great lyrics, they've started using this thing called Suno AI, you know, for songwriting. And one of my students came in a couple of weeks ago, and he played me this thing, and I said, what is it? And it was really well done. And he said, it's a song I've written. And I thought, well, that's not odd, because I know he can play the guitar a bit because I've been teaching him, but this was so professional sound, and I couldn't believe it was. I thought, he said, I want to go in the studio and re-record it, and I said, well, I wouldn't get it any better than that, not unless I employed, you know, some great session musicians. It was a country track, so it had all the pedal steel guitar and all that in. And it turned out that it was an AI thing that he put his lyrics in, and you know, you put the genre of music you want, and it churned it out. And I said, well, how does it work? And he goes, well, give us a lyric of one of your songs. So I gave him, he took one off my last album, Puncture the Moon, and he changed the genre. It was like a rockabilly track called She Wouldn't Do That, and he put pop in it, and it came, you know, he brought it in the next week, and it was fantastic. It was frighteningly good, and it was, you know, I thought, bloody hell. Now, I don't know whether you can actually program it to play your tune. I think you can now, but it's a really good thing. So if anyone's got any questions about that and the copyright involved, I mean, who owns the copyright when you put your lyrics in? You know, I can maybe give you a few pointers to that. I want to thank my Patreon members, people who subscribe to my Patreon platform, because they keep all the free stuff going. It frees me up to spend time putting all the stuff together, okay? So thank you to my Patreon members. All those people who donate to things like this. I've already got one. Who's donated here? Who's this one? This to do. This is off Brian Healy. Thank you, Brian. So I'm going to do. Brian's asking about theory for dummies. Now you do realise, Brian, that most guitar players, we don't really know that much theory. What I would suggest you do, I'll have a little look at it now. Ask me a question, Brian. Anyone's got any questions about theory? Let's see how much I know, and I think you'll be surprised on how little I know. But let's put it to the test, shall we? Okay, let's see. Because a lot of people think you need to know theory to play. You don't. You need to know what key you're in. You know, you need to know what you know, is it in the right key for your voice, all that sort of stuff. So let's have, before we start blabbing on about all this, let's have a look at some of these questions that we've got. So right, let's have a look. We've got to be hanging from across the pond. That's from Fritz. Now, you asked me, could you do Maggie May, Rod Stewart, like say you handle the opening especially. Now, by the opening, I'm assuming I made a couple of notes earlier on. Hold on a minute, bear with me, if I can find it. Let me just find it. when at the beginning of Maggie May, for example, there's like a little classical intro. Now, I knew Fred, he was the first one to get to, it was about an hour ago he sent this in, and I thought, well, I scribbled, you know, I use this idiot-proof way of doing things. I do these for me, because I can't read a note of music, I haven't got a clue, not a clue. So, let's see if I can play, let's see if I can read, understand my own scribble. As I say, that on Maggie May, the Rod Stewart song, on the album version, there's a nice, lovely little classical piece that they edited on the beginning. So I've made a couple of notes here. Let's have a look. Oh, da 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 da. Where's it go? Something like that. I'm trying to read this. Okay, so first of all, if you're going to do it, you've got to get it in your head. Do 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 do. So that I've only done a couple of bars just to show you how I would work it out. So I'll try it again. So let's think. Where's it go? Oh. Da da. Come on. Anyway, that's how you do it. I scribble it out like this, plotting where all the fingers go. See, tablets you won't give you the timing. Da, 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 da. Now, if I was going to do this for you out there, I would put the timing underneath so you could follow it. But that's how I would do it. And another one of my good friends called Beth messaged me literally about 10 minutes ago asking about how do I put all this together, you know, and could I do a lesson with it, you know, private lesson with it? Well, I could and I will, but on one of the first things I did on Patreon was I showed people how to do it, and I provided, there's templates for this on Patreon as well, so if you do join Patreon, and there's lots of videos on there, I mean the studio and all that sort of stuff, because, you know, I'm a working musician, I don't just sit around all day twiddling about, I have to earn a living. So if you want to know how I put all the bits together, have a look on Patreon or you know, things like that. Let's have a look what else we've got. Right, these theory I'm waiting for these theory questions. All right, we've got Steve. Now, Mr. Ward, my good friend, Mr. Steve Ward. This tallies in, because I did get a question here, and Steve immediately sprang to mind, because the question was, hold on, where is it? Christ, I tell you what, I'm sure I'm going insane. Where have I put it? Lynn, have you moved my stuff?
No.
First rule of musicianship is blame somebody else. It was that thing for you know, about, somebody asked me about what did they ask me about? Christ, I've even forgot. Oh, open tuning. Yeah, somebody was asking me about open tuning. Let's have a look. Who was it? Who asked me about open tuning?
Was it Brian Healy?
There we go. It was Freewheeling Bob. Freewheeling Bob asked me about open tuning. So I'll give you an example. Do I use it? Well, yeah, I've used it on. I've used it a number of times on here. I did it with Stephanie, the one that what's his name, Lindsay Buckingham. I did that one. The Cinema Show by Genesis, which has got a tuning, I've got no idea what it is. And then Steve, Mr. Ward, who's just contacted me now, he came in the other day with a John Martin tuning that, despite my 50 odd years in the business, I'd never ever seen before. But it was an interesting one. I mean, one or two of the strings were nearly falling off the guitar, but we managed to get through it. I can't remember the name of the track now. I'm sure Steve will remind us if he gets back on here. But that was good. Now, what is open tuning all about for most people that don't know? It makes the guitar easier to play. So say, for example, you wanted to do something like, I don't know, say by Mumford and Sons, you know that, The Cave or whatever it's called. They use an open E tuning. And what does that mean? It means that I'm going to tune the three strings that you'd normally hold down like this on an E. And I'll demonstrate it now. And I'm going to tighten them up as if my fingers are on. So I'm going to That third string needs to be tightened up by the equivalent to 1 fret. Okay, the fourth string, sorry, needs to be tightened up to the equivalent to 2 frets. I've broken a few doing this, but it's normal to do. And then the 5th string the same. The good thing about that is if you use 1 finger, every time you put a bar across with 1 finger, G, A, so it has its uses, you know. Let's put this back. Tell you what, it's nice to see so many people from all over the world. It's brilliant. From Yorkshire to Cape Cod. Norfolk. Michigan. Brilliant. Right, I'll tune that up again in a minute when I need to do something with it. Let's have a look at what else we've got. So, yeah, tuning. You do use up lots of different tunings for different things. I had a list of some of the things that... oh, we are, it's here. But I was so busy doing a stupid picture. It's me falling off my chair. And I forgot what it was. So, yeah, we did that one. What else is the alternative tuning? Theory lessons. I'm waiting for Brian to ask me some questions. Or any of you about theory. Come on, test me on my theory, you know, which is crap. But test me anyway, because I might, you know, I might be able to help you lot out there. Let's have a look. Right, so we got... let's see where we are on here. Let's keep working down this. Lynn has just popped up. We got Deb. Oh, thanks, Deb. Oh, Deb's come in, one of my lovely students. Bobby's watching. What else have we got? Hello from Cape Cod for the first time. That's from Stephen. Hi, Steve. What else have we got? Felicity, one of my favourite Rob Fennah. Felicity's theme. Yeah. People say to me, how many guitars did you use on that? I said, well, I used 1 with a drop D tuning. Oops. Tune it in. I was learning that. What is it? Did you put me off? See, always plays. I shouldn't have forgot it. I can't believe I'd written it. That's you, that's sniggering.
You know all the names.
Let's do the hard bit. Oh. Hey. Harmonies. Let's try and do it properly now without messing. Gotta get a serious class in face. Don't laugh. Lynn's just fallen asleep here. But anyway, yeah, Yeah, it's. I'm trying to find somewhere to record that. I've recorded it on record, as you'll have all heard, because it's on this album. People who buy these, see this here, Puncture the Moon, Felicity's theme. It's on that. And actually, I actually, you know, note the illustration. I did a lyric to it as well called it's the last track. I just did it for a bit of fun on the last session. I'd written up some words to it, and just for fun. And the engineer, who Ben Harper, is a great engineer. He insisted that we include it on the album, so we did. It's called Someone Still Loves You, so I used it twice, which I liked. So anyway, that was Felicity's theme. Drop D tuning, Barre, tenor.
But
thank you, Baz.
Asked a question further down.
Okay, where are we? Well, you're gonna shout at me if I miss any of these.
Well, I've gone through some of them. Most of them are all saying hello.
Hello.
Everywhere.
All right. Hello. Oh, yeah, I'll listen. Australia. See,
New Zealand, Michigan.
Yeah, Australia. I've been to Australia. Countdown. Remember that show? I'm old. All you youngsters out there. Molly Meldrum. We went to a place called Great Keppel Island. And we recorded a video for Countdown, and then we did the big show, the Festival of Sydney, at the Opera House on New Year's Eve, which was great fun, brilliant. And guess what? I haven't got one photo. I gave my camera. I'd just been touring Japan, and we went to Australia, and I gave my camera to our manager Steve Wolf, who wrote It's a Heartache. You'll remember that song, you know, Bonnie Tyler. He was our manager as well, and he left the bloody lens cap on. So all the pictures when we were at the Opera House came out black. And I've been in touch with Channel, I think it was Channel 10 or whatever, to try and get it, but they haven't got any copies. So if any of you in Australia just happened to be there, New Year's Eve 1978, and you saw 4 young Scousers playing outside the Opera House on the big stage with 200,000 people looking at us, which was brilliant. If anyone's got a picture of it, do send it. What else have we got? Canada, excellent. I know Canada a bit because one of our Alberta, Crosby, Copite. That's is that our cat? Copite. Could be from Crosby. Yeah. Yeah, Canada. We did. I did a lot of work with Helen Forrester, the author, best-selling author, and I was entrusted to stage, to adapt best-selling books for theatre, which we did pretty successfully because we all toured the UK and it was great fun. What else have we got? I can't read your writing. Frank, still having problem with Dust in the Wind. Can't get the. Why can't you get the timing right on Dust in the Wind, for God's sake? Let me show you what you're doing wrong. I think I know what you're doing wrong. Right, okay, shall I use this guitar? I'll use this one. Where are you going? Okay. Okay. Now with Dust in the Wind, the pick, right, and this applies not just to this song, but a lot of other songs. I'm going to count it through. Okay, now in your head, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. When you pluck your first 2 strings, just 5 and 2, that 5 and 2 is 1.5 beats long. So what does that mean? 1 and, that's how long it's got to last. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all the others are on the beat or the half beat. But if you go and suddenly jump in without leaving that first, the 5 and 2, 1.5 beats long, it's already going to be wrong. So, and once you've got the pick, sorry, get the angle. Once you've got the pick, 5 and 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, 5 and 2, 4, 3, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Now on this hand, you play the pick with this finger on the C, and take it off and do the same. Put your little finger on the 2nd string out the 3rd fret, and then back here. Okay. And on the last 3, before you change to the A minor, bring your fingers off. Always play that 3rd string open if you're moving chords. A minor. Okay, it starts with this finger off. I always say O as in open. O, 3, 1, open, meaning the 2nd string, and then 3, 1, 1st fret, open, 3rd fret, A minor, 1, open, 3. So remember, the first beat lasts 1.5 beats long. Okay, 1.5 beats long. Now, any questions you got like that, now's the time to ask them. Now, don't forget, those people who make a donation to the channel, at the bottom of the thing, you'll see like a little dollar thing. And why do I mention it? Well, they shine out like a shaft of gold where all around it is dark, and I see them, and they're the ones I'll jump to first, because obviously if they've donated to keep all the free content going, I'm going to answer those questions first. I'll do the others as best I can, but they're the ones I'm going to answer first. Okay, so cheers Barre, thanks Deb. Frank, we've looked at that. Frank, we looked at Dust in the Wind. Dave, let's have a look what Dave's asking. You really helped me with a 68-year-old beginner. Well, you're welcome, Dave. That's what this channel is all about. Okay. What else? Andy C is learning Ragtime Boy, but how can I get faster changing positions? Okay, so the same thing. What did I say about the open third? If you're going to do like that ragtime thing. Now I wrote this. I didn't write it. I wrote half of it. I had something on a cassette in the early 80s. Somebody gave me a cassette with a couple of tracks on it, and I was trying to learn them to teach them, and I got halfway through it, and somebody had put Top of the Pops on it or something. So this bit was on the tape. And so on. And then it ran out, or something ran out. So I wrote the other bit where I went to. So it's half and half, but I credited it, thinking it was. I credited it originally to Chet Atkins because I was convinced it was his, and I didn't want to dishonour the man by saying I'd written half of his tune, even though I did. But I got loads of Chet Atkins fans saying it's not Chet Atkins, so it's Rob Fennah's now, stroke unknown, because I don't know. I think it's just normal bluesy stuff. But to answer your question, now watch this. Watch the third string, open. Open, 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 open. You see what I mean? You always use the open strings to move, and ordinarily it's nearly always on the 3. I'll do it slowly. Open, 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 open. Open strings is the key to all changing. Now, one of the things, talking about that, when you're playing, let's say you're strumming away there, strumming away on your guitar, you've got your book, as we would, say Liverpool. I'm emigrated to the Wirral now, so it's book, right? Book. Now you can't. Don't forget, guitars really, traditionally, they're not meant to just hit all the strings at the same time, all the time. And because with classical music, open strings are written into music so you can move your hand around. When you're strumming, you can't. So the only thing you can do, if it's a fast song, is bring your fingers off as you're changing chords. So say for example, I was going to go from, say I'm playing the Jam, that's entertainment, okay? See, I'm doing that. Now what you don't see is if I slow it down. Fall off. So you'll have to forgive the odd duff note. I'm sitting on a really, really uncomfortable chair in order to get this bloody camera in the right position. That's how they do it. Fingers off, folks, when you're changing chords. Is it theoretically correct? No, it isn't. Do you have any alternative? No, you don't. If you don't play with your fingers off, what you have to do is stop strumming, and you end up with a big hole in the sound, and that sounds crap. So, you know, fingers off, and it just, you know, those open strings are actually a chord anyway. I think it's an E minor 11th, whatever it is, but it sort of relates to G's and A minors and all that stuff anyway, so you get away with it. You know, if it's slow, you don't have to do it. Let's have a look what else we've got. Right, we've got, we've had a look at that. Beth, please go over the chord, what's that, D, F sharp in Stairway to Heaven. I'm not doing easy ones here. Position. I don't know what that says.
Boston.
Oh, Boston.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
at Boston.
I want to go there.
Donated.
Oh, thank you. A D, F sharp. Which bit is it? A D with an F sharp is usually, you know, I don't know with this one. No, ordinarily you play your D and the F sharp. You put your bass over the top. You tend to use that. So you're going to go. When we were younger, we'd do a run now for say G to E minor like this. Hear that note? And a lot of people still do it, but really it should be, you know. But when you do, if you do it the other way, as we all used to do, because we didn't know about that, then it doesn't sound any good. So it's worth knowing how to do that. Now, with regard to what Beth's asked, which part of would it be? We'll go. And then when you've done that, you pick your pluck up that's been there, and you go. If there's a blossom in your, no, whatever it is. I don't know what F sharp you mean there, Beth. When we do a lesson, when we do a one-to-one lesson, we'll do it. And by the way, total one-to-one lessons, I've got only six spaces available, one-to-one. You know, I do them from all over the world. Beth's over in the States, you know. So if anyone's interested in a one-to-one, I've got 6 left, and then when they're gone. Get in touch, and I'll fit you in. I'll give you the details of cost and all that sort of stuff if you message me, right? But I got 6 left. All right. So who else we got? So our Mike, yeah. Mike Waite, my mate Mike Whittingham. Mike's a good guitar player. Mike's a great guitar player. In fact, it brings me neatly a segue. Where's those figures? Yeah, Mike, my old mate. I mean, Mike and I go back years, known each other since we were about 11. 12, yeah, and I was doing what is it?
Your phone. Just give me your phone.
No. Oh, yeah. We were doing when Mike used to come around to our house, and we, you know, when about 14 or 15 or whatever, we started playing, and he had this, what was that guitar he had? But I was always envious because he had a really cool looking guitar, great guitar, and I asked him. He was around the house one day, and I was working on an album for Alternative Radio, which is my band. Well, I say my band, it's my brother Al and our band, and Ian Lewis, and we've got some good mates in there with us, but predominantly myself and my brother Al. And we'd written this song called Concertina Ballerina and Valley of Evergreen, other ones. Now, Concertina, interestingly enough, I got some figures the other day. Concertina's where are we now? It's at 5,404,634 streams. That's Concertina Ballerina. And I mentioned Mike because I was trying to work out the lead guitar solo for the 12 for the long version, and I had Mike. Still remembered it, Mike, whacking away on the guitars when I was doing it. And another one of my students, when I was working on Valley of Evergreen, which has had, how many's that had? What's that one had? That's had 659,000 streams. which was one of our first singles. I had another one of the students again for the same reason. I said, you just play this, and they'd be strumming away with these chords, and I'd be working out my solos at the same time. Chris Williams it was, you know. In fact, he's got my first guitar, which is a Zenta, you know. And I tried to buy it back of him, but he won't have it because he's had it for 40 years now. He's only 11 money. But yeah, so that's not bad. All those things. There we go. You see that? They're all our streams. Now that's only on. We've had about. Altogether, we've had 6,268,000 on 3 songs, and we've made quite a few albums. So I'm still down with the kids, folks. So go and have a look for alternative radio. Where are most of the sales? In America, of all places. America, because one of them went nuts on TikTok. All the youngsters have been doing videos to this track called Concertina Ballerina because it's such a weird. I think it was the song I used on the for the live stream last time we did it. It's really it's an odd track. It doesn't sound like anything else. Neither does Valley of Evergreen. I think that's why people have latched onto it, because it just doesn't sound like anything. So where are we up to the point where we are? So good to see you, Mike. And by the way, Mike, you weren't noticeable by your absence when we went up to the Grieve Dunning the other week with Trevor. So I just thought I'd let you know, because you were watching the footy. So your football was more important than your mates in the pub. Never mind. Next time, eh, Mike? We got a donation from Boston. I love the idea of going to Boston.
Yeah, well, it's at Boston. So
it's at Boston.
I don't know whether that's a name.
I don't know, but it's probably from Boston, isn't it?
I would think so.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's what I've just said. I'd like to go to Boston. I'll sit on the person themselves. So what else have we got?
Well, Frank has asked these two, but he also asked about a lesson.
All right, where's Frank?
Zoom. These two at bottom and top.
Still trying to get my head around the Aeolian scale. Hey, come on. The Aeolian, you know. Look at this. Watch, I'll show you now.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it now. So, for those people, most tunes that you play, rock songs, you'll find that they're usually in A minor or B minor. They're the one. Why? Because your voice normally sits comfortably there, you know. Like Stairway to Heaven, it's in A minor, isn't it? Lots of rock songs, you know, Ziggy Stardust, you know. So, they all pinch the same progressions. Remember, there's only 11 notes in the whole world. You know, people say, well, there's 2 E's. Well, yeah, but they're the same E, because one's an octave. The Aeolian scale, if you're going to do it in A minor, the easiest place to play it, always start down here when you're kicking off, okay? And I'm going to start from the 5th string, and I'm just going to give you fret numbers. So make a note of these or rewatch this, okay? 0, 2, 3, as in fret numbers, open, 2, 3, open. You're going to see that, open, 2, 3. Do the same on the 4th string, okay? I'm just doing downstrokes with your play. Then an open 3rd, and then a 3rd string at the 2nd fret. That's your halfway house. Then when you get to the 2nd string, it's 0, 1, 3, and then on the 1st string, 0, 1, 3 again. Okay, so that's your Aeolian scale for either A minor, it'll work over A minor, and it'll also work over C. A minor. Right, works on both. Now, that thing I did called the only scale you really need to know, and I meant it because that's the only one I do. That guitar piece I was just telling you about with my mate Mike, I'm using the Aeolian scale, you know, because it's a beautiful scale. And so I'm going to play exactly what I played down there, but I'm going to play it at the 5th fret now because I get an extra string. So if I start here, now say I wanted to play somebody was playing a song in A minor, and all the chords related to A minor this scale will fit with. Okay, so if the song is in a minor key like A minor, I will put my 1st finger, which I'm calling my minor finger, on the bass string at the 5th fret. Why there? Because that's the A note. And I'm going to play, I'll give you the fret numbers. 5, 7, 8. And try to use the right fingers. 5, 7, 8. Onto the next string. 5, 7, 8. Onto the next string. Only 2, 5, 7. Okay. When you get to the 3rd string, I'll do a little shimmy to my left. And I'm going to play 4, 5, 7. Okay. Then I'm going to get back to my 5th fret, you know, and then I'm going to play 5, 6, 8, and then 5, 7, 8 again. Because don't forget the first string is always the same as the bass string because of the same note. Now that scale is A minor, and it's your C major as well. Minor finger, what's the furthest note along, or where your little finger lands? It's at C. So it's a major scale of whatever that is, which is C. Now if say somebody was playing Ramalama Ding Dong, that'll fit with the C. Major finger, minor finger. So if you're in C, A minor, F, G, you'd put your little finger there, okay, and then you'd play, well, what is the A minor scale? You know, okay, so C major. Now say somebody said I want to play an A major, and you think, oh God, I only know the A minor scale. That's no good. I'll say, well, with what I've just said, if you say this is your major finger, this one, you'd put your little finger on at the 5th fret where the A note is, and just reverse engineer everything. So this is now at the 2nd fret. So it's a minor scale of F sharp, but it's the major scale of the one we're looking at, A. If it was in B minor, say, we'd put a minor finger at the B and we'd go this way. If it was B major, you think, oh, I don't know. I used to do. I'll put my little finger there, reverse engineer it, so it's the minor of G sharp, but it's the major of B, and so on. And clearly, there's, you know, with those notes, all the different permutations, you've got them. Now, the people that tend to learn all the different scales, they tend to do it usually to pass an exam. But most songwriters like me, we tend to write our own solos and borrow our friends to play the chords while we're working them out. And we don't really know what scale we're using. We haven't got a clue. I mean, Dave Gilmour, Eric Clapton, all the greats, they haven't got a clue what scales they're using. I mean, Dave Gilmour's on record as saying he doesn't know what a scale is. He goes, clearly I do, but I don't know what the name of it is, because we don't learn that way. We tend to, you know, write our solos as an extension to the songs that we're writing. Right, let's have a look. Where are we now? Lynn's my producer, by the way, making sure that I don't carry on waffling away aimlessly. What have we got? Hi Rob, can you do an easy version of Waterloo Sunset? Mark, James. Well, I've done Waterloo Sunset. I put it. It's on my. It's over there, isn't it, Lynn? Mm-hmm. The idiot proof. I did an idiot proof version of it. You know. What? Yeah, go on then.
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah, read that.
You know all those charts you give out for free. Maybe make a book of them all. Somebody else has asked me. I'll take 10% for the advice.
4 or 5.
Yeah, well, I've got 100. Yeah, there's thousands of them here. No, I like doing it. But I'm interested in, seriously, is I make a few quid out of people who come to me for guitar lessons, and they buy cups of tea or they'll buy an album. That's my thing. Doing the online and doing things like this, I love it. You know, Waterloo Sunset. There you go. Now just go onto my site and you'll find it on all the fingering positions. This will show you how to play it like the record as well. This I've actually, whenever there's an integral part of a song that's played by another instrument, I always try and incorporate it into the version I'm going to show you, because I think it's important that if you're playing it on your own, you know, your audience know immediately what it is you're going to play. Yeah, I'll stick that over there. Right, what else have we got? Rob, how did you know when you were ready to play publicly? Oh, you never know. You know, what is due to confidence? Was it due to confidence, or was it just people were affirming you? No. I joined my first little band when I was 15. You know, I was still at school, and we used to play at the weekends in cabaret clubs in North Wales mainly, because we had a Welsh agent. And you know, when we would do, like, you know, labour clubs and cabaret clubs and all that sort of stuff. And I was fortunate enough to join the other 3 young lads who were from a different part of the Wirral than me. And they auditioned me because they were looking for a rhythm guitar player. It was Pete Lay. He was the lead. He's a great guitar player, Pete. Sadly no longer with us, but you know, his music lives on, as is, you know, he's one of my best mates, like a brother to me. And but he was a brilliant guitar player, so I learned a lot off Pete. But I was the rhythm guitarist when I joined the group. So they were doing all the main stuff. Kev Roberts, Les Smith and Pete Lay, and we, you know, after 2 years of doing all that, they'd already been doing it for 9 months. I joined it, so I was lucky enough to be able to just ease in slowly, you know. And then eventually I started doing more singing as I got more confident. And then we went on to become Buster and got signed to RCA, and that's it. I've been in the game ever since. So, but even now, we all get nervous before we go on stage. Even now, you never know what's going to happen. I get nervous before I do this, believe it or not. You know, but as you and you never think you've rehearsed something enough, you know, and in the end, you've just got to say, well, if I don't know it now, I'll never know it, you know, and that's it. You just got to get on and do it, you know. But don't overthink anything. If you overthink it, you'll cock it up. Like I cock things up when I'm doing my stuff, you know, with you. How do you approach songwriting? Well, the first thing you do is you get a good title. If you've got a good title, then that's half the battle. And then as you're playing different things, you know, chords and that, or, you know, I never use scales to do it. You'll play chords, something will sound nice, and melodies, if you've you know, got a musical mind, will tend to present themselves, and then little phrases will pop into your head. You know, it's like I said to you before when I was doing that classical piece. You know, lyrics started to present themselves relating to the music, and that's how you do it. It's I'll do a lesson on songwriting. I mean, some people come to me and we do lessons on songwriting, you know, one-on-ones where we go into a lot more depth, you know, on how to do it, and or mainly what not to do, you know, how to format things, you know, things not, you know, don't waffle, don't have too many chords in songs. One of the best songs on my last album is it's got 2 chords in it. It's called Inside the Arena, but it's got lots of melody and it sounds great. But the fewer the chords, the more you can do. Busier the chords, the less you can do because it gets too messy. What else have we got? How do you get to the stage where you can play something and have a conversation at the same time? I've seen Paul Davis do it. I think you do it too. What do you mean? You know, what you do, you just sort of, it's like driving a car. Eventually, you just, I don't know, just talk a load of crap, don't you? You can ask your partner, your wife, where's me cup of tea, because this one's gone cold, you know. I've got to wait here all day. Actually, I've got one. So, I don't know, you just get used to it. It's like driving a car, like any skill. You know, it's not impossible. It's any skill, anything you do, you just get, it becomes second nature, all right? And there's no book will tell you how to play a guitar in the same way no book will tell you how to play golf, you know, or play football. It's a physical thing. People forget this. Playing a musical instrument is like a sport, and you've got to treat it like a sport, and you've got to train, and you've got to warm up, and you've got to, you know, respect your body and respect your fingers and whatever it is, you know, and not do anything daft. Don't start playing rugby if you want to be a professional guitarist, okay? Because you're just going to you'll just end up in hospital bed with one of your fingers missing. Right. Concertina Ballerina sounds a little bit like a few of my favourite things now. Okay, that's a bloody good point here. Favourite things. One of my favourite. I've been rumbled. One of my favourite musicals ever is. Well, that was from Sound of Music, wasn't it? Sound of Music and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So. Dee da dee dee da da dee dee minor dee da C major 7 dee dee da 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 dee 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 dee. Now those first 2 chords, da da dee da da dee da 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 dee da da. Never, never in the valley of evergreen. Ever is as quiet as it seems. Harlequin dancers alone on stage. I've used those progressions in so many different songs. But then again, I don't mind, because if you listen to Stairway to Heaven, you know, close your eyes on Dashabai Mountain. Where did that come from? Michelle, all those sort of things. We all borrow things, okay? You can't copyright chords. Chords are uncopyrightable, but you must not venture into stealing somebody else's tune. I always imagine the chords are like a pizza base, all right? Your chord sequence, you know, say C, F, G or whatever. What are you going to put on the top? The topping, you know, that's your melody, that's your song, all right? Chords are just chords, you know, but don't use too many. Any chance you could do a fingerstyle version of Lady Eleanor? I've been working on Lady Eleanor. Where is it? I've got that somewhere. Thanks, Dave. Dave for the donation. I've actually written it out. I haven't done it yet. In fact, that's what I was going to do over Christmas. Now, I've done it acoustically, but I've managed to put in. I'd have to check my own idiot-proof artwork to remember how to play it. I can't do it now. Yeah, I've done it. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it is Lady Eleanor. Yeah, let's put it over there with those. Annoyed I haven't done that. It's your fault, I must have forgotten. The other rule of playing is whenever anything goes wrong, always blame somebody else for the mistake.
Me.
Just turn to your left or your right and give whoever it is a sort of dirty look, and the audience will immediately assume it was them and not you. All right. So, Dave, I'll have a go at Lady Eleanor for you. Any chance you could do a fingerstyle version of it? I don't know. It might be a bit fiddly. It's one of those things. If you do it with a private lesson with me, I'll do whatever you want. On a public, on a public forum like this, it's probably more tricky because probably a lot of people don't even know what it is. To me, it's their best ever song. I love it, They're great band leaders from. I've had the pleasure we did a couple of gigs with them at the Liverpool Empire when they used to do their Christmas show, so it was nice to be a part of doing that with them. What else have we got? I need to replace my steel strings on my acoustic. Do you have a prepared recommendation? Yeah, I use Earthwood. Let's have a look. Steel string, yeah. I use Earthwood light gauge, not extra light. Earthwood light gauge. Now, quite often, if I'm doing a live show, I will now detune my guitar to the equivalent of 2 frets to a D, and then I'll put a slightly heavier gauge string on just to take up the tension. But ordinarily, if it's normal concert pitch, Earthwood light gauge strings, and I use a sort of 0.73 pleck. I don't like a heavy pleck, not when you're strumming. If it's too light, if it's like a bus ticket, you'll overplay, or if it's too heavy, you'll end it's uncomfortable. So 0.70 is just about right. What else have we got? Can you play Big Love, the bridge part? What's that? Where's my guitar? They don't make it easy, this lot, do they? Is there a cap on it?
You're asking me?
I am. I can't remember how it goes. Is that it? That's it. Is that what you mean? Yeah, but there's different parts to it, isn't there? Where's it go? And then you've got. The hardest bit, I think, is this bit. Because it's the syncopation. That took me months to figure that out. I don't think there's a teacher on YouTube that's got it. I have, because it took me bloody ages to do it. I was like obsessional. I have to get it right. Now, if you want to learn those bits, I think that's the bridge you mean, maybe. I hope it is. When you're doing that, again, your fingers, you've got to warm up, otherwise it's sticky. Dig it. Wrong fret. See the way I did that? So anyway, big love. Again, I've done that one, idiot proofed as well. That was fun, you see. Any more ukulele lessons? Yeah, I could do. If people watch them, I'll do them. I put up a song the other day, and I'm disappointed in all of you. It's called Rumble by a fella called Link Ray. Now, you'll never have heard of Link Ray, most of you. You know, but Rumble was the first, was an instrumental. It inspired everyone. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page. It was banned. It's the only instrumental in history that was ever banned in the United States, all right? It was banned because it incited violence. How can an instrumental incite violence, folks? Hey? But anyway, for that reason alone, it's worth doing. But you'll know it. You'll know it with me. Yeah, give us that one, love. You know. And I put a backing track on there as well for you. You've heard what's her name doing it? Johnny Depp. It's been all the adverts. Pulp Fiction. It was in that. It was even in Independence Day. What a great track! And then how many people watched it? They probably thought I've never heard of it. You have. You just don't know it. Frank Yule. Some advice on a looper. I bought a looper for my son because I couldn't use it. I don't know how to do it. I tend not to use sort of gadgets like that because a looper, you're limited. It'll play the same loop over and over again, which is all right if you want to just do a bit of jamming. But it's never my thing. I don't use pedals on my guitars. I really don't. When I'm playing live, I use an acoustic guitar, that Taylor I've got, or the 12-string, and all I'll do with the sound engineer, I'll say I want you to use a little bit of reverb and chorus, and that's it, just to fatten it up depending on what the song is. I don't use anything. If I'm in the studio recording and making records, then of course I will use outboard gear in the studio. I'll say to the engineer, I'm looking for this sound, but again, it's very rarely we'll go through pedals. We might do on occasion, but I certainly don't use them loud. Okay, could you give some tips on swing timing? Really struggle when there's a full beat which starts on the and finishes on the
When is it? Swung.
Oh, I see. I think all right. I think
It's noddy.
noddy. I think it's do you mean 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? 1 and 2. Well, Noddy's got me singing a song I don't know to demonstrate the swinging rhythm. Lynn's gonna make me some tea. Da-dee-da-da. Can't find a rhyme for that. Yeah, swing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And again, I'll say I'm going to go from A minor to E minor. I'll come off on the up through 1 and 2, or if you want to say and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and any chord you like. G 1 and 2 and 3, D and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, F and 1 and 2 and 3, C, A minor, E. For those people who they still don't know the difference. The swing rhythm is like a shuffle rhythm. It's like a cowboy rhythm, Well, she's my woman of gold, and she's not very old. Well, she's my woman of gold, and she's not very old. I'm a 2-penny prince, and I give her hot love. I just remember my mum laughing at me when, she laughed at the record. She goes, well, I was listening to the T-Rex, and she goes, oh, so he's faster than most, and she lives on the coast. well, she's faster than most, and she lives on the coast. Anyway, that's your shuffle rhythm. It's a great rhythm.
He also dances.
Oh, he dances, yeah. I mean, he's I think he's from Hackney, isn't he? Boland. Great, I love Mark Bolan, and it was him that got me into music, into pop music. Right, what else have we got? Daniel, he's asking, is Streets of London possible to play with index finger and thumb? Okay, let's have a go.
Like in Blackbird, he's asked it again.
Like in what?
Blackbird.
Well, you could.
With a pattern.
Well, so I'm going to use one finger and a thumb. Now, I used to play like this until a guitarist called Terry Moran, who built my guitar, one of my guitars, he chastised me and said, "You'll never be able to play guitar properly if you do that." And of course, he was completely right. But you know, if you can say, I'm going to play, instead of doing it like that, like 5 2 4 3 6 2 4 3, you could sort of, you know, you got to be more, you know. I am just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. Or you could sort of. Do like a sort of cowboy way of doing it. I think that's what you might mean.
He's mentioned it here.
Yeah. So well, you'd sort of go, you sort of play it like this. You know, let your thumb be the bass guitar. So, because you know, if it's the boxer, you got to keep the essence of the track.
He's click from black.
Okay. Oh, Streets of London, isn't it? Sorry, I thought you were talking about the boxer. The Streets of London, I got mixed up because they're very similar in the way that you play them. So Streets of London again. If I was going to do it like McCartney would sort of go. Have you seen the old man in the closed down market, kicking up the big blues with his worn out shoes? So what's this from? One, bass up, down, up, bass up, down, up, bass up. Now bass in the case of C would be the 5th string, alternating to the 6th. Okay, but you've got to play a full C like this, mind you. That's what your bloody eye out. Lynn's very clumsy.
Oh, don't.
Every time she goes into it, she always ends up getting bruised. She fell over a photo copy the other day, folks. Fell over a photo copy because she wasn't watching where she was going, and ended up in a bloody hospital waiting room getting her arm looked at. Most of well, whatever it was then.
Box.
She fell over a box and landed on a photocopier.
I did. I landed on the wall. Very nice.
I thought you meant the photocopier.
No.
Oh. So she walked into a wall then. Anyway, I'm trying to teach you.
Yeah, no, but you're not teaching what he's asking.
I am the box. What is it?
No, it's not. He's
Streets of London.
Is pig from Blackbird's thumb index okay for the Streets of London?
So, yeah, it means thumb index finger. That's thumb index finger. That's what I'm doing.
From Blackbird, is it? Can you
Well, you can use your thumb and index one, but you can't play it in the same thing as Blackbird. Like
you
can't go. No, it's a different rhythm. So it's 5 up, down, up, 6 up, down, up, 5 up. So slowly, see that? 5 up, down, up, 6 up, down, up. If you're on A minor, again it would be 5. Why? Because it's an A note. If you're on E minor, for example, you'd be 6 to 5. Now, if you're on F and you might not like playing F, play up an easy version of F and go 4 to 5. Okay, but you can't. The thing about you can use your thumb and your index finger, but you know you've got to make sure, Dan. You've got to make sure that it's rhythmically similar. Now, the thing about Blackbird and other things McCartney does like that, they're very unique and it's a style he's got. You know, and McCartney he couldn't use his fingers when he did Yesterday. He used his thumb and his index finger, but he didn't play it like he played Blackbird. He went like this. You know. Do a classical. That's the beauty of classical guitar. You incorporate the melody so you don't have to sing. It's it's harder to do, but it's cool. Now what else have we got? Oh, 12 string. Oh yeah, this is good here. This is Mike. Mike said, I have my first 12 string on order and I'm looking forward to trying your lesson on Genesis Cinema Show. Any chance of a lesson of the rest of the song? I don't really know. Well, I know that I think it's one of the most beautiful songs. I tend to do the first bit, but as you know, again, as somebody that just plays things, on YouTube, I have to try and pick stuff that people will know. If I did the whole thing, they probably wouldn't know. Again, it's one of those things. If it was a one-to-one lesson, we could do all of it. It's because it's going to take time. But you get what if you're paying for the private lesson, and I'll play whatever you like. But the first bit is the part that everybody sort of knows. One thing that have a look at what you want to do if you like. That sort of stuff. Listen to the version of Horizons that I did, which is a complete piece on a guitar. Again, it's up on the thing, all the paperwork's with it, all the idiot proof, so you can't mess it up, even though it's classical in its style. I've done it in idiot proof as well. I'm doing Cavatina like that as well. I've been working on that to try and, because Cavatina is a really fiddly grade 8 piece, left hand, so I'm working on, I've put it up before with both tab and the shapes, but I'm trying to incorporate them like I do all the rest of the stuff. That'll be, if I can get that done, that'll be a big thing. Because a lot of people just don't like classical music, or not they don't like it, they don't play it because they just can't understand how to do it, because it's all in bloody gobbledygook. I couldn't understand it either. What's this? I just started really enjoying learning with you. Sore fingers. I know. Well, yeah, it does hurt a bit, but I'm glad. Keep it going. Your fingers will get. Again, think of it like a sport. Just warm up. When you get tired, just stop for a bit and make sure you shake your hands out. Don't do it in front of the window because you look stupid. But that helps. What were you laughing at? Britta board washing bus. Oh, yeah. Sunday morning here. Ah, thank you. That's off? Lord Lullaby.
Lord Lullaby.
Lord Lullaby. All right, cheers.
Yeah.
I like this Australian thing.
Yeah.
No, I loved Australia. It's a beautiful place. Where are we? Good evening, Rob. What do you think about female guitarists? I think they're better than some. I tell you what, my favourite classical guitarists are female guitarists. And Vidovic, they are stunning classical guitar players. And when it always makes me laugh when people say who's the best guitarist in the world. Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix. Those guys, right? They wouldn't get anywhere near just one of the pieces that these people play. Honestly, they wouldn't have a clue what to do with the guitar. Classical guitar, as I know, because I'm not classically trained, is bloody hard. It takes years of dedication. I came to it quite late on. I think I'm one of the few guitarists, I think, that plays most styles. I don't play 10 out of 10 on every style, but I can play most styles to a reasonable 7, I would say. But when you learn it, if you want to play classical guitar and you want to play it as well as these women, men, John Williams, people like them, Julian Bream, you have to dedicate your life to it. It's like being an Olympian. You can't just run around the field a few times and then go and enter the thing and expect to win. You've got to dedicate a life if you want to learn to play classical guitar. It's so much more difficult and complicated than any other style. And whenever you see these greatest guitar things, they'll ignore them. The greatest guitar players are classical players, more so than jazz even. They really are, because it's difficult, and because there's no amplification and all that stuff with it. You're a 16th of an inch out in a classical guitar, people are laughing at you because there's nothing to hide it. You've got to be accurate. It's a different discipline. Right, we've got our cheers. It's off BG. £20 for the old Rob Fennah and Lynn Biscuit Fund. That's good. Let's have a look what we got. As promised, for the music sheets that I've been downloading. Oh, you're welcome. And heads up on the. Oh yeah, you got the Raymundo. Well done. Which strings are on your classical? I use a normal tension on some tracks. When I'm learning something, I'll have normal tension. High tension is better because you get a better sustain. So high tension are good. When I got my Raymundo here, let me show you because it's quite an important thing. Get one of these. These things they're like little sucker things. They just stick on. Don't put your foot on a box, or you'll, especially if Lynn's around, you like to just fall off it.
No, over it.
Fall over it. Yeah. Get one of these. You just buy them. They're not expensive. They just sucker on and sucker. See them there? Can you see? Now you look at the bridge on this. Mind your head, love. It's like the fucking Titanic going down here. You know, look. Where's the bridge? Christ, I can't even get the right way around. Forgive me. See that? My bridge is almost nothing. See, it's almost. I had it taken down to almost zero because when I got it, it was quite. The action was high, and I said to the guy, because I swapped a Gibson Firebird for this, you know, and I said I'll buy it, but you better get that action down, otherwise I'm not doing it. So he got it down, and it, you know, you can't. There's no truss rod in these, so they're either well built or they're not. And if they're not well built, and you've spent $4,000 on one, then you're stuck with it. There's nothing you can do. You can only take the bridge down so far. There's no truss rod, you know, and that's the end of it. So hopefully, you know, your guitar will work out as well as mine. But thank you very much. That's great. I'm glad you got your guitar. What else have we got? Harry, when holding down a chord, are there any basic rules as to how I finger pick it? Well, you know, yeah. I think I talked about this the other day. I think it was part of my fat fingers on. When you're holding a chord down, let's just make sure your fingertips, okay? Don't hold the guitar like this, because when you do, your fingers slop all over the strings. So try and hold the guitar 90 degrees to the floor, okay? So your fingers, can you see that? Tips, and make sure that the string here, in particular, see that buzzing that I got then? Because my finger wasn't near the fret. Stupid mistakes like missing a penalty. Okay, clearance. Make sure there's clearance. See, can you see that? Keep your hand. You don't want to be doing. When you move your guitar to see what you're doing, that happens, and then you look more, and it happens more. Okay, but have a look at the finger. I've done loads of finger picking ones. What was the one Travis picking? It's one of my most popular videos. Have a look at that, and it'll give you all the tips. Or I know there's 8 guitar masterclasses that I did, from right basic on how to hold a guitar, like what we've just been talking about there, right the way through to playing, you know, the high end stuff. So have a look at those. There's 8 of them. What else have we got? Have you ever tried Lagrima by Tarrega? Yeah. See that? Yeah, that's a great example. All that fun stuff. Now, I have got my sucker thing now. Jesus. So the Lagrima is. Let's go. Oh, I need me stuck everything. Yeah, Lagrima. It's a great one. It's a grade 5 that. By Francisco Tarrega, and I put it in idiot proof, so those people that can't read music, all the little finger positions. I'll have to consult my own idiot proof stuff, but I've done that one. I did all the idiot ones with classical stuff or things like oh, where's it go? Let me go. But they're easy, believe it or not. It's the slow ones that are hard. They're bloody hard. And I've got no stool now. It's your fault, Lynn. So So again, that's a grade 8 piece. Those pieces you got to warm up for them. You know, you'll hear me buzzing all over the place. You know, if play for half an hour and it won't. You know, it's like when you warm up to go on a run. That's exactly the same. There's no difference at all. You know, or more like when you're doing stuff like that, it's more like going training before you have a boxing match, because you've really got to work hard. Right, what else have we got? Iro, can you do the theme from The Third Man? Ooh, somebody asked me that. I don't know it. I'd have to listen to it because I can't read music. But I'll have a think about that one. I'll make a note. The Third Man. If John Lennon did it, he would have been doing a bit of busking, I would imagine, just playing a few little bits of it. But I'll certainly have a listen for it. Listen out for it. Who's that one? Who asked me to do that? Who was it? JH. Yeah. Okay. I'll have a look. I'll have a look for you. Can you play the flute part? What's that on the song Going Up in the Country? I can't. I don't. Is that what's going up in the country? Can't eat. I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Can I play? If I can hear it, I can play it. But I can't read music, so I'd have to listen to it. And if I can hear it, and it's possible, whenever it's possible, then I'll do it. What else have we got? Have you tried those carbon?
Carbon fibre
things. Oh, it's a guitar. No, I think my mate Mr. Steve Warding, he's got something like that. And some of them are very good. The nearest I've got to a carbon fibre guitar, I've still got it, and it's a beautiful guitar. It was an Ovation. It wasn't it was like a hybrid. It was like a classical design. I think it was a folklore or something. I don't know, but. I played it to death, and it's currently in bits downstairs, but I used it on everything I ever did. All those records that I was talking about, the 6 million here and there, but by the way, that's still getting 500,000 every month, that concertina one. But yeah, I used the Ovation on that. It's a great guitar, steel strung. And I had a carbon fibre back. It was one of the first ones. The only thing you got to watch out, because it had a carbon fibre back, if you listen to some of the recordings that I used, you can it's sliding on your bloody knee. But anyway, there we go.
Did you blame them?
Well, I would have blamed Alan.
Oh.
He's my brother. I would have definitely blamed him.
Okay.
When holding down a chord, only basically allowed to finger. But yeah, we've just took this. We had a look at that one before, didn't we? Yeah. That was off Harry there. Any suggestions on using sus chords in fingerstyle? Well, the sus chord's just holding a chord down, isn't it? D sus 4, D sus 2. Chords are lovely. What else have we got?
Bobby.
I was looking.
It's Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby. Hiya, Bob. Oh, Bob. Tell you what, you want to hear Bobby, this young man, play Here Comes the Sun. It's brilliant. He played better than me now, which is slightly irritating, but there you go. I can't lose in a situation like that because he'll play it better than me. And I'll say, well, you can only do that because I taught you. So either way, I'm winning. Well done, Bob. He played it yesterday for me. Absolutely brilliant. Right, hi, Rob. I was looking at getting new strings for my Hofner. But I was just wondering what strings you have on your Hofner, because you're talking about the Hofner violin bass. I use flat wound on it, so there's not any finger, so I don't get any finger noise. Round wound, you get more twang out of a round wound string on a bass, but they can be a little bit, make noisy. It depends on the type of song you're playing, But I used a Fender Precision bass with round wound strings on the last album, the Puncture the Moon album. But I also use the Hofner violin with flat wounds. In fact, the Hofner violin with flat wounds I find a lot easier to play because I'm only small. I'm not, the Precision is more powerful bass, but I can play the other one better because it's small with slimmer neck, so it suits me. What else have we got here? I don't know what that one is. I'll make a note. Dante and C by, that's it, Guilani. I'll have a look at that one. Rob, any advice on feeling stuck and not improving? Well, yeah, that's the same. No one thinks they're getting any better. Everyone thinks they're crap. You know, nobody thinks we get any better. You know, it's like when you haven't seen, you know, kids for a year, and you know, they don't realise how much they've grown, but you do. Especially when you're looking up to them all the time, as I do when they could knock on my door. You know, I've got some of my youngsters who I started teaching years ago, you know, 14 now or whatever, and I'm like this, looking up at them. Most irritating, but there you go. I need a box to make eye contact.
Fall over it.
Oh. Linda fall over it. What else have we got here? Yeah, what's this one? Where you take your guitars to the servicing is KGB. No, I use KGB in Birkenhead, which is in Pacific Road. The lads there are great. There's Alan. They do Alan and Barre, and they've been there for years, and they do a great job. I send all my students there with their stuff because they just go to what they do, and you know they're good because they say it's going to be a couple of weeks because they're busy, and when someone's busy, you know they're good. You know, and if I take a guitar in, I'm not going to get it back for a couple of weeks. But I know they're going to spend time and I get it right. The theme from Tales from the Riverbank.
That's what the dance is.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Now, I only know busk version. That's wrong, that. But yeah, well, remember this, folks. Do you remember that? The Tales from the River? What's this remind you of? Remember when Roddy put Hammy the hamster in that balloon, and it's going up and saying, Roddy, as he disappears into the stratosphere. And another time he put him in a paper boat. He's a bit of a sadistic, yet that Roddy fella, Roddy the rat. He put him in a paper boat. Hammy's in the boat going down the stream, heading towards a waterfall. So they just do it the other way. Yeah, I remember it. It's great. Tales of the... What's it? Willie, I'll tell you who plays that one a lot is Steve Hackett. He always sort of does a little bit of do's. He also does a little bit, you know, Scouse coming out, it's getting late, I've had too much coffee. You know what it means, like you know what I'm saying, like you want to be a Scouse, you just put an S at the end of everything, like, you know. I am Liverpudlian, by the way, so I can say these things. Well. I am a snob. Liverpudlians have come to live on the world with the biggest snobs in the world, ever. I emigrated when I was 4, so I can get away with it. Right, my bar chords are ringing, but my chord... what is it? Who's this? Me. My bar chords are ringing, but my chord transition sucks. Any remedy? Well, what are you doing with your bar? Let's have a look. When you're doing a bar chord, again, look at the master classes for this. All right. Now, when you see people doing it, you probably just notice it in passing. You see this. Now, that part of your finger, this part of your finger here, see that? You never use this bit because it's all spongy with all these little creases in. So if you're putting your finger like, well, it's too high, forget it, it's not going to work. You use, see the outer part of your finger here, not this bit, the outer part, okay? And you do it like that, so it's like that, and then these other fingers come in, and then you push against it to lock it into position, elbow in. Right, you know, and that's nice as well. If you get trouble with the bar, just lift it, and then you get some beautiful sounds. What a dream I had, but was I really there? How many did that get? That's at about 500,000 and all, I think.
It had 200.
Oh no, 204,000. 250,000 then, you know. But that was an album track, you know. But then it just with the bar, yeah. But do a lesson on the bar chord. Have a look at the bar chord lesson. It's one of the master classes, and I specifically talk about bar chords and how to remedy buzzing and all that sort of stuff. And again, changing from one chord to the other. Now, remember, when you play an acoustic guitar, avoid bar chords like the plague. If you've got another way of playing a chord, you use it. You always want open strings, as many open strings when you're playing acoustic, so it rings out and it helps the transitions much more easily. Okay, what else have we got? Can you talk about palm muting for a second? Yep. Yarnov, can you pass me that other guitar, please? Okay. So palm muting. Palm muting, okay, so what you do, literally, as it says on the tin, this part of your hand here by the bridge. Okay, now it's sometimes nice to give it a little bit of a dog bark every now and again. Okay, so I'm not palm muting, so I'll just play a simple progression. See the way I lifted it now? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so I'm just there's the bridge there. Can you see that? This way, there's the bridge. Just slightly forward, okay? Palm muting. It's good when you're doing reggae as well, palm muting, just before I put this guitar down. No. We'll have a look at palm muting. I think I've done a lesson on palm muting. I think I might do a dedicated lesson to palm muting. I have talked about it, I know that. God, where can I put this? Yeah, it's got over there. I have talked about it, but I'll do it again. What else have we got? Thanks for the shows and explanations. What's your tabs? You're very, very well. I would like to see more blues, even though you don't really like blues. I do like it. You know what? I do like blues, but whenever I see a blues player, all they do is they just play the same thing over and over again. You know, Clapton. I like Clapton when he played all sort of different stuff. But people who go and see him now, they say, well, you know. Every track he did, they just sound the same. That's why blues players end up good, because they just play the same licks all the time. And it just, for me, I like different. I'm an eclectic type of guy. I like different types of playing. I like classical. I like country. I like some jazz. I like some blues. I do like some blues. It's great, you know. But I wouldn't want to see a whole concert of it, you know. I like to mix it up a bit. And I think if you want to entertain people, you know, for a job. Then you need to have, you need to have a repertoire that moves around a bit, you know, because not everybody likes blues, not everybody likes jazz, not everybody likes country or classical. So you mix it up, and then at some point you're gonna keep everybody happy, all right? What we used to do when me and Al were playing on stage, and we weren't sure what we'd play, you know, in Australia, we'd look at the colour of their hair, and if it was grey, we'd say, okay, well let's not play any of that new stuff. Let's play stuff they'll know. You know, there you go. But they've all got blue hair now, haven't they? Green. Let's not go there, please. No, let's definitely not go there. I'll end up getting in trouble. And let's move on swiftly. It's the transition between an open chord to a bar chord that always catches me out. Well, okay, let's have a look. So I was going to go from a G to a B minor. Think about what I said before. Okay, so if you're going to go from a G like that, I'll do an open G to start. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm making the shape in the air, and then I'm landing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or what you tend to do. You don't go and whack hell out of it. It's just a little hint. If I slow that down. You always hitting some of the strings. If you didn't, it would go like this. And you'd never get there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are 1 and 2. Or say you're going from an A minor to an F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sounds like that Dylan song. What else have we got? Everyone, don't forget to like. Oh yeah, thumbs up. Do your thumbs up. Have you got all your mates to subscribe to the channel, folks? You know, that would be helpful. You know, if you like all this stuff. And don't forget, if you want to buy the album, you can get it on the well, there's links, isn't there? You know all about that. I'm going to bore you with all that now. Right. Oh yeah. Who's that? Who said that? Most important question, Rob. Red or blues? Well, I've actually I did 2 records for Liverpool Football Club. One got to number 3 in the British charts, and I did it. I used to teach a player called Craig Johnson. He's a lovely guy, very intelligent man. Craig, you know, a lot of footballers. This guy was clever, you know, Craig Johnson. He invented that boot, you know, the Predator boot. I remember going round to his house once, and he used to come to my house when I lived in Greasby, which is on the Wirral, and he'd have his car outside Roo, and all the kids. I didn't know, because I didn't know much about football then, but I was introduced to him by a friend, Michael Mark Jones, who was a local DJ, and anyway, I realised who he was and all that, and I used to go around to his house in Heswell, and he was messing around. I'd been there to show him something, teach him something, and he was gluing bits of car tyre to one of his football boots. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm inventing a new boot." You know, I thought, you know, are you sure that's just coffee you're drinking there, Craig? Anyway, he was, and he was. The idea was, you know, well, you've seen it, the Predator boot. Well, he invented it, you know. He invented it. He dedicated a lot of his time to it. He's a clever guy, Craig. Anyway, the upshot of it was, through knowing him, he said to me, I did 2 records with him. I did one called The Pride of Merseyside. I got a singer who did out the voice for Alvida's Pet. Remember the TV series in Britain? His name was Joe Fagan. Coincidentally, not the Joe Fagan, not the football manager guy. But I got Joe to sing it because I said, well, I don't want a footballer singing it, because that, you know, we just had a session of the year on Radio 1, alternative radio, and I thought, I didn't really want to do any football record, to be honest, because they weren't credible at all. It was a kiss of death, you know. But he was a mate, and so I helped him. I did it. It was called Pride of Merseyside. And Alan Bleasdale helped out with the video. And we had some great actors. Beautiful video. It was about the Liverpool-Everton Cup final. And I wish I had a copy of it. But anyway, Liverpool, they went and lost 5 games on the run, and they didn't win the final. And it didn't get that high. It got to about it got in the top 75 of the UK charts. But the next one we did, he said, will you do another one? I said, oh, what, after the last one? You know, and he said, well, this is a rap. I said, no, I'm not doing it. You know, rapping. And the idea of standing there watching somebody pointing at me while angrily shouting while the trousers are falling down is not my idea of fun. You know, he said, no, this is a fun track. And he played me he had a couple of verses, he didn't have much, but he had the idea, and that's the most important thing. And he'd written these couple of things about, you know, a John Barnes thing and that. And anyway, we got into the idea of doing it, and I wrote some of the lyrics. I wrote the bit about the North-South divide and Buckingham Palace. It was called the Anfield Rap, and it was a great little record because it was the first of that genre. After that, New Order did one, and then, you know, it became cool to do, but we did the first one. Ours was the one, and it was it was a funny track, and it's, you know, people who think it was a serious thing, you know, we just did it for a joke. It's funny because when we go, Lynn and I go into the studio, we're there in a couple of weeks. That's where we recorded. So when you see me in that studio, if you on Patreon, all the work I do, that's the very studio that we recorded the Anfield Rap in. And I always remember the play. Sorry, I'm being interrupted.
No, I'm just going to give the Converse thing as well.
Converse what?
Playing on the pitch.
Oh yeah, I'll get into that. I'm still on Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll get to Everton in a minute.
I'm Manu.
Oh no, I've done, but yeah, but the Liverpool players came in. They all got pissed, as in drunk, and they did the video, and that was fun and all watching them. But no, it was fun. Anfield Rock. Now, as Lynn was trying to point out to me there, thinking I was waffling on, Everton. One of my other students was again a really nice guy called Leighton Baines. He used to play for Everton. I think he still does. And he used to come along with his son to a place I used to work from in Crosby. And he was great as well, you know. And but prior to knowing Leighton, we were invited to play on the pitch once at Everton football ground. Everton were playing Leeds, and we just had an album. We released an album, and Alan and I we went on the.
Cold.
It was bloody freezing. We were on the pitch, and I was standing there, and a fucking ball just flew past my ear. I thought it was one of the lads messing around. I turned around and went, and I was about to use the F word, and it was Neville Southall, and he's about 12 foot tall, you know. Big Nev, they called him, Little Rob and Big Nev. So I thought, no, I won't go there. But it was great, and the people that looked after us at Everton were fantastic. So that's my Liverpool thing. Now to scupper things somewhat, we also, I can tell you now because it was a long time. We, Alan and I, my brother and I, we did all the music for Manchester United television for 2 years. We were signed to do. So all the adverts they did for David Beckham and you know, Alex Ferguson and all the stuff, all that stuff that when MUTV came after the first 2 years, Alan and I did all that music. So you know, we have some Manchester friends as well. But you know, all the associations we've had with the local teams, despite the rivalry, has always been a good one, healthy one as well, I'm pleased to say. So there we are. So I've actually done quite a bit of football-y stuff. All right, can you shout how to play Red Wine? That's just really hard. If it was going to do a reggae version. Red wine goes to my head. Don't know the words. Now what am I doing? G. Mute. Up. Mute. Now watch my hand even if I don't do the palm muted. I'm just pressing when I want to hear it. Press. Okay. To C. You can't really do reggae with open chords because you can't really get the feel. I'll do a lesson on some of those things, but that's a rough thing for Red Wine. Christ, I can't even speak. Speaking, that's Jonathan Ross. Red Wine. What else have we got here? Hi Rob. Dylan's song was that's the one, Hurricane. Yeah, thank you for that. You know, where's that? Sunshine Beach. Where's Sunshine Beach? Come on, where's that? It sounds good. It sounds warmer than his ear. All right. So somebody's just put at the bottom the toffees. yeah. Everton mince. Yeah, it's cool. Right, what time is it? Right, it's 10:30. Any more questions, folks? Because it's getting to the witching. I'm teaching at 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock. You know, in the morning. So I'm gonna.
You know, there's 2 8 o'clocks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Until I was about 25, I didn't realise there were 2 8 o'clocks in every day. So there we are. Right, listen, I've really enjoyed today's live stream. You have as well. You've been very quiet there, Lynn. You said hello to people. Was there? There's no show without punch. There she is.
I never know where to look. Well, hello.
Yeah, it's the one you set up because I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Thicky Thick. Mr. McThicky Thick. I can play music for people while they're doing all the important stuff, and I'm absolute crap. You know, I shouldn't be. My father was an electrical engineer, had a division of British Telecom, for Christ's sake. I mean, what happened? You know, and he taught me to play the guitar. Right, we got some Muppets coming here. Where are we? If you ask a question, please press the. Listen, thank you very much for everyone. Now, the next. I'm not doing one next month because I'm in the recording studio. So I'm going to be filming what we're doing, and it'll be going up on my Patreon platform. I'm doing some stuff, music for my son's new audio book. I'm also, there's a female artist which we're doing. I'm finishing off a track with that, and there's another track that I'm doing for another album. So I'm going to be doing a few different things in the studio. So join me there. Is it in Australia? Yeah, it had to be Australia, didn't it? Hey, Australia.
Queensland, yeah.
Where is it?
Queensland.
Queensland. Well, yeah, I've been around the Great Barrier Reef. That's where we did the Keppel Island. We went to Great Keppel Island where the slogan was "Get wrecked on Great Keppel Island." We went there to make a pop video for, as we said earlier, for Countdown. Melly Meldrum. He used to wear that red shirt, and we had a ball. I love Keppel Island. It's just an old thing.
Do you ring there?
Yeah, listen to this. You won't believe this. My dad gave me a gold. It was his grandfather's. It was like a signet ring. I've still got it. I don't wear it anymore because I'll tell you why. I wanted to go swimming on the beach of Great Keppel Island, and the sand is just like, you know, salt. It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I gave it to my mate Pete Lay. I said, "Do us a favour, Pete. Mind that for me while I go swimming. I don't want to lose it, right?" So when I got back, I said, "Have you got the ring?" He goes, "Rob, I swear to God, I'm sorry. I've lost it." I thought he was winding me up. He dropped it on the bloody beach, right? He didn't know where. He just dropped it on the beach. So I thought, well, that's great, isn't it? I've only had it like 6 months. It's been in the family for like 150 years, and my mate Pete has dropped it on the beach, where if you dropped anything in front of you, you would never find it. So I'm a bit pissed off about all this. And that evening, we were having dinner. You had like a communal place where you'd have all your dinner, like big bench seats, you know, because it was quite exclusive in those days. And this lady was sitting opposite me, and we got chatting. She goes, "What's the matter with you? You look a bit miserable." And I said, "Oh yeah." And I said, "I've lost a family early. You know, it was a ring I had it, and I was on the beach and I lost it, you know." And she goes, said to her friend who was sitting next to her, "Don't forget there's about 100 people in this place. Oh, Jean, didn't you find a ring on the beach this morning?" And it turned out that this woman that was sitting opposite me, if I'd have been 5 people away, I wouldn't. She found the bloody ring and handed it into the thing. So I went off, picked up the ring, and there we are. Isn't that an interesting story? Queensland, Australia. And anyone that lives there will know how hard it is if you drop something on one of those beaches. You never see it again. Right. When's the next time? Come on then.
Saturday the 4th of April.
Right, the next one is Saturday. Oh, Pete's birthday is Saturday, the 4th. Is it the 4th of April? Saturday the 4th of April, because I'm in the studio next day. So please do join me then. And in the meantime, yeah, I want to give us those things, just so you know, those people that join me on Patreon. You know, I'm not. I don't want to show what I'm doing.
Okay.
Right. Well, that Lady Eleanor, I've done. That's one I'd forgotten about. This is what I'm going to be working on. These are going up within the next couple of weeks. Layla, the unplugged version. You know, the Eric Clapton unplugged one that's idiot proof. So we're going to be doing that one. On the Wednesdays, a lot of people are going to do American Pie, Don McLean. Now, don't forget, when I do them, I don't just give you the thing. All the we put all the I can't speak. I had too much coffee. You know, all the lyrics and all that stuff. I put all that with it, so I'm going to be doing that for those people who are beginners. A lot of beginners out there now. What a great song! I'm going to be doing this. This is cool. Ashes to Ashes by David Bowie. Now I've managed to incorporate the melody. You know, the bing do 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 do, that bit. So we're going to have a go at that. All right, another great one for rhythm guitar. A lot of the English lads will know this. That's Entertainment by The Jam. All right, we're going to be doing that one. That's got a great strum, that great rhythm. And I did Michelle on a ukulele, and for some reason I never did it on a guitar. So we're going to be doing Michelle, you know, the way that it's played on the guitar, as it is on the record. Okay, so that's what I've already got in the can. Just so you people out there that buy the albums and join me on Patreon, you know that, you know, I'm doing as I'm supposed to do. I'm working hard. All right. So thank you for all that, and it's lovely to see you all. And I shall, with Arlene, we'll look forward to seeing you on it on the 4th of April. Now, how do I turn it when I stop? How do I do it? Just bear with me, folks.
Okay.
Go on.
So
You're doing it.
well, you need to stop streaming.
Yeah. Okay. Should we do this now? Shall I press it?
Yeah.
I want to be in charge.
And then that one there.
And all right. So 4th of April.